Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Kevin's Commentary, brought to you by WYO Federal Credit Union. We're going to do a three-part series with individuals who are going to be very important once COVID-19 is over and cleared and we can get back to some sort of normality. We have our first guest in this series will be Scott Knerr, who's the Director of Sports Medicine at the University of Wyoming. And Scott, obviously a very difficult time. What are you and your crew doing at this point about student athletes who are needing rehabilitation, needing your help?
So yeah, that's a very good question. So right now it kind of falls into two different categories. We've got a few athletes that are here in town, and we also have several athletes who are doing rehab back at home. And so we are trying our best to keep in contact with them. Those who can go to physical therapy on their own are doing that. And those that need extra help with it, we are doing video conferencing with them and actually doing virtual rehab sessions with them. But those that are here in Laramie, first off, anytime that a student athlete comes into town, we make contact with them. We find out where they've been, what they've done, and they talk with Dr. Boyer, who is our medical director. And depending on what has been decided with that, they may be put into a quarantine period for up to 14 days with that. And so once they've made it through that quarantine, then they're able to come into our facilities. So any student athlete that comes into our facilities, we meet at the front door, which we have locked. And we automatically take their temperature, make sure they're not running a fever. And if they're not running a fever, then we allow them to come into our facility. We put a mask on them. So all of our student athletes that are doing rehab with a mask on. And all of our athletic training staff, anytime that we have contact with a student athlete, we're wearing a mask as well with that. And so that allows us to try to protect ourselves, protect the student athletes, and also anybody that they come into contact with. So that is our first line of defense there. And then as far as what we're doing for disinfecting and cleaning, any piece of equipment that our student athletes come into contact with, whether it be a stationary bike, whether it be our free weights, whether it be the treatment tables, we are disinfecting them with a spray and wiping them down after each contact. And then also twice a week, we are using an electrostatic spraying machine that goes and any hard surface in the athletic training facility, we're cleaning that twice a week. So we're doing that on Tuesdays and Fridays. So definitely doing our best to try to protect the student athletes as much as we can.
It's an amazing situation, I know. And I guess the second part of the question would be when and if we are able to get everybody back, which we're looking so forward to. I know, like all of us, you guys have met and discussed various scenarios on when the return is going to happen. How are you going to handle it, Scotty, when everybody is allowed to come back?
So right now, part of what we're doing is we make weekly contact with each of our student athletes. And with that contact, we have a checklist that we go through. And that has a general medical component to it, has a mental health component to it, and also a physical component. So we go through a checklist asking them if they have any symptoms of cough, achiness, fever, chills, questions like that, just to ascertain if there might be anything that's happening while they're at home so we can make appropriate recommendations there. We also, with that questionnaire, have some questions about their mental health, how they're doing overall with being away from their sport, from school, from those general contacts that they have throughout the school year, just to make sure that mentally they're doing okay. And then as well, also assessing any injuries that might come up along the way with that, so that we have an idea of what their physical status is before they come back onto campus. And so depending on where they've been, contacts that they've had with other people that might have had exposure to the COVID-19 virus, at that point, we will make decisions on who needs to be quarantined once they get back to campus. So the big thing is we want to make sure that when we have all these student athletes and students in general coming back onto campus, we want to make sure that we are limiting any exposure to other student athletes. So we want to make sure that we are doing our best to limit any potential spread of COVID-19. So the big thing will be assessing risk with our student athletes, making sure that those athletes that need to be quarantined will be.
Unbelievable time, Scott. I know you guys will be ready for it. We all can hope that it will return to normal here the very soonest. Scott Knerr, thanks for being with us, Director of Athletic Training at the University of Wyoming. Appreciate it, Scotty.